best AI solution in the world that no one's ever heard of, right? We've been going 20 years. We've been working in law enforcement and government. I'm here to now get our name out, do events like this, meet people, build relationships.
Brilliant to have you all. So let me see. We're going to start off with Ed. You've told me there's some questions I can't ask you, which means I might just ask them anyway.
Ask them
anyway, really good questions. But so basically, starting off with you, you're a partner at Nuix. Just tell us, what is the problem you are solving for insurers?
Yeah, so insurance, we know it's a highly regulated industry, world that we're in. We're delivering solutions that we've built over 20 years at Nuix, where we've cut our teeth. Just a little bit about Nuix, first of all, maybe. We're an Australian headquartered company. It's been going for 20 years. Cut our teeth in law enforcement and government, building AI models since early 2000s. We're listed on the Aussie Stock Exchange, and we're in 40 industries globally. What we're cutting our teeth in insurance is that regulated space of being able to explain models, explain how you can use AI, where the data's come from, what calculations are being put into the layperson's terminology that they can go back to the lawyers and the regulators to explain how it's been built and why it's coming up with those results.
Can I have a go at turning that into the problem then? So the problem they have is they don't know what the source of the information has been used in a particular set of analytics. Is that right?
Yeah, so you want to reduce your risk. So you can take a large language model and you can have all of that data there, but actually you might just want certain aspects of that model. So you want to create a small language model then. So the risk is reduced, you know what you're talking about, you can explain what's in that data set, and you can go back to, again, I'll go to the regulator and the lawyer, right? And explain what's happening when there's inquiries. Examples of where we're having this is a recent customer of ours at board level, they were told it's not if, but when you're going to have a breach of your data. So they had to go back and find all of the personal sensitive data that they had in the organization, find where it was located globally, adhere to local data laws and regulators, and redact some of that information so that they could be a bit more secure and operate more efficiently and make the board a lot happier, that's for sure.
And you started off in other financial services. Insurance is a fairly recent area for you.
For me personally?
For the business.
For the business? No, we've covered insurance for a number of years in small pockets. Nuix built data privacy solutions, legal solutions, investigative solutions. We've now got a single platform called Neo, which is built with our artificial intelligence built in, and our robotics as an all-encompassing package for our customers.
Okay. Now, you asked me not to use this word, but I'm so intrigued by it, I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yeah.
Contextual library, that sounds like a really helpful way to explain what you do once you've described what a contextual library is. So,
yeah, so on the contextual library side of the AI, we come with libraries of different types of data. So are you looking at a medical prescription? Are you looking at a flight ticket? Are you looking at a contract? Are you looking at different, I think we've got like 200 different types of forms and images that we know. We can look at your different data stacks around the world and go, that's a contract, we need to look into that. We need to understand what data's in there, what data's sensitive, what data isn't. And
you almost answered the question before, but what's your own background? Because you joined Nuix fairly recently.
Yeah, I'm, I think week 5 into Nuix. Previous to this, I went a bit crazy and started up a sports consultancy, advising sports firms and companies around the world. Then I was at a well-known US tech firm working on financial services, sport, learn about plane and jet fuselages, missile fuselages, and how they're built. And then before that, financial services. So quite broad.
And I've got to ask, the Tongan Rugby
League. So yeah, fun fact is I'm on the board of the Tongan Rugby League. So if anybody would like to sponsor them, I am open to checks and beer. So yeah, no, look, I've got good friends that I've played rugby with over the years out in Tonga. The Pacific Islands are challenged financially, economically, in terms of what they achieve through financial sustainability, and they are the most fun people to watch play rugby. Not play rugby against, having done it, but yeah.
Well, you've got two firsts tonight. I think you're the first person that comes here representing somebody from Tonga in one capacity, and first person here looking for funds for a rugby club. But back to the Nuix one, we should make sure you're...
We're also looking for funds for Nuix.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. So what do you want from... So don't worry, we're going to go there. So for the audience tonight, what would you want, any help you want, or ways you can connect people with you afterwards?
Yeah, I describe Nuix as the best AI solution in the world that no one's ever heard of, right? We've been going 20 years. We've been working in law enforcement and government. I'm here to now get our name out, do events like this, meet people, build relationships for the company, for the brand, right? We are probably operating in your organization, possibly through a third-party supplier, some are in the room this evening, through our previous 3 platforms. We're now looking to develop and grow those relationships in UK, Ireland, and across the world. Like I say, 11 different locations globally. So, yeah, the team's here tonight, so welcome conversations.
Good. Okay, and thank you. Now, so Matt, moving on to you, another person that hadn't discovered insurance. Before we talk about Recorder, just tell us a little bit about what you were doing before Recorder, and people might enjoy hearing that.
Well, thanks for having me. So my co-founders and I set up a business in 2017 called Codat, which was a financial data API, which was basically aggregating data to enable our clients to synchronize data with their client's financial ledger. So the use cases there were SME lending, payments, and we dabbled a little bit in insurance, and I'll come back to that later. That's why we've ended up here. So it ended up being a much better idea than we thought it was going to be, and we raised $170 million, scaled to the US, scaled to Australia, yeah, we ended up having 300 people. I was managing managers of managers, which I'd never done before. So we ended up exiting that business to JP Morgan last year. We sold our shares, and now we're back to building.
I think some of us might have just gone back to the beach at that point. But so you've got big credibility, you built a big business, big team, raised a lot of funding. Then you decided, of all the places you could have looked at, hey, why not go and help insurance?
Yeah.
So why did you end up with insurance?
Well, we were like, what's more boring than aggregating financial data and servicing banks? And we were like, let's go to insurance. So no, seriously, we wanted to apply a lot of the same principles that we had used at Codat and find a adjacent industry where we could apply some of that first principle thinking to make things more efficient and basically help mitigate things like over and under insurance.
And yeah, can you just talk a little bit about that? So from a practical point of view, what's the problem you're actually helping brokers and insurance solve, and just building on that a little bit?
Yeah, so Recorder's a vertical SaaS for insurance brokers. So I think Paul gave a very good description of what a vertical SaaS is earlier, so I won't describe what that is, but we're providing full stack software to insurance brokers. We split our product into 3 modules. The first basically helps them to ingest data in a digital format using enrichment so that they've got really clean, structured data in the top of the funnel. The second part is called quotes, and that helps them to use that data they've captured and to share it with insurers via APIs without having to rekey the data multiple times, because rekeying is obviously an issue within insurance. And the third part is a fully featured policy management system. And we think those 3 pieces together basically solves the challenges that brokers have. Yeah. And
can you name some clients?
I'll probably get in trouble for this, but we're working with companies like Beazley. We tend to, because we're quite a young business, we're 9 months in, we're, I guess high growth, the most ambitious brokers who are in growth mode, rather than the ones who are trying to hold out to sell to a consolidator, tend to be the ones which are most attracted to our solution. So yeah, we work with a broker up in Cheltenham called Capsule, who's a really exciting player.
I hope you don't get in trouble with Beazley, because I was there when James Wright said you can refer to Beazley, and they are one of the most technologically advanced organisations, and James is partly responsible for that. So I hope he's either still here and heard that, or doesn't beat you up afterwards, because I was there. Now, when we were talking before, you kind of reinforced something that we often reflect on. Early days, well, the reason InsurTech sort of popped up was people saw fintech and thought, hey, we can do that in insurance. There's lots of ways people can disrupt. But you came into this, and I think you were a bit more sophisticated because you knew it wasn't going to be an overnight success. But what, in your opinion, is different between why banks so rapidly were sort of replaced by challenger banks, or at least certainly they become a really big part of the banking world, whereas insurance, essentially, those disruptors didn't survive? Or what's the difference between insurance and banking world?
Yeah, I think there's like two parts to my answer there. I think the first is the GFC, global financial crisis, and the wave of regulation that followed it. Basically, banks had to treat their customers more fairly, and in order to do that, you need to get your data stack in good shape. And so I think that's driven a lot of innovation, particularly with retail banking. And then I think you mentioned it, fierce competition from neobanks and fintechs has led to bankers having to digitally transform or face getting wiped out, basically. I think InsurTech has had a bit of a false start because lots of people have got delegated authority or been MGAs, used VC cash to scale up very, very quickly without thinking about the downstream consequences of that, and have obviously burnt out when it's come to the kind of risk and retention side of things. I guess where Recorder is different is like we're a software company. We have no intention to be regulated ever because it means we can be nimble and move quickly. We leave the regulatory activity to our clients, and we just focus on enabling them to run their business in the most efficient way possible.
I think the other thing you also mentioned was that to some extent the insurance problems are probably less time dependent. I mean, the insurance cycle is like an annual cycle. Generally, banking is people doing multiple transactions a day. But you also, I mean, I guess for you, one of the challenges you come in, or anybody coming in into insurance, is you might have a new solution, but is there an urgency for people to be able to change? So how do you deal with that coming in?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something we've had to adapt to, and it's going to require a lot of patience to build this business up. I think insurance brokers make lots of money, and so they think, why do I need to do things differently if I'm already doing extremely well? So yeah, I guess you've got to find the people who want to be more ambitious and take market share from their competition, and that's what we're trying to do.
I think come back in a year's time, Matt, and you can tell us, you can do a masterclass in how to convince the insurance world to move faster, because
I haven't got it worked out yet.
No, we've got a year. And then just for you, what's the one thing that you'd like people to remember about Recorder, or well, let's leave it at that for now. Yeah, what's the one thing to remember about you?
Yeah, so Recorder, the genesis of the name Recorder is record data once and never rekey it again, because rekeying is redundant in 2024. Human beings shouldn't be doing that work. Machines are better at it than human beings. And obviously there's lots of broker management systems in the market. They've been around for 40 years. Salesforce is obviously doing a great job in that space. And I guess the difference with Recorder, or the way we're trying to differentiate ourselves, is that connectivity. So because we're connected out to insurers like Beazley and others, once you've captured the risk information once, you can transform that risk information into an API request, so you can get a quote back, bind the risk, and generally be more efficient, basically. So
capture once and then plug your API in, and all being well, it'll flow out into your partners.
Exactly, and if people are already using Salesforce, we're never going to displace Salesforce, but we'll plug into tools like Salesforce so people can use our API middleware and access. At the moment, we're very focused on cyber and the specialty market, but eventually we want to have API connectivity across all product suites, basically.
Well, good. Well, we should come back and talk to us again next March, because we've got to have a session on that, another conference we're doing. Anna, last but definitely not least, Swiss Re. I've massive respect over the years for what Swiss Re has been doing in its research with, I think it's still, the label is still there, Sigma, Sona, some other things you're going to do. So you're from the Swiss Re
Institute.
I know it's Institute. I was making sure there wasn't another word I missed. Swiss Re Institute. And now you're offering a course for the Swiss InsurTech course.
Yes. So to give you a little bit of context, the Swiss Re Institute, and maybe not all of you know, but it's the key research arm of the group. And like you very well put it, we do have Sigma, which is data-driven research to help risk managers identify opportunities in the industry. And then we have Sonar, which is all about emerging risks and what's the next big risks we need to be aware of. On the other hand, we have executive education, and it's the reason why I'm here today. So what we do is we harvest all that research that we just did, and then we gain and we have access to global insights of the group, and we create programs that are well-rooted in real-life scenarios and applications. So that's basically what Swiss Re Institute is. And since this year, or September of 2023, we decided to just not only train our key clients or exclusively Swiss Re clients, but open up to the broader market and just expand to all key players in the insurance industry. And one of them is clearly InsurTech.
So let's talk about the Swiss InsurTech hub. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yes, so we are co-branding this new training that we want to launch in the market next year with the Swiss InsurTech Hub, but we're not same company.
Yes. You're offering a program to teach 12 people for a day and a half in Zurich about insurance and technology.
Yes, we aim for 12 minimum, but the program can fill up to 25. And the idea of this is to just cover the basic of what the insurance industry is all about. So there's a lot of nuances, there's a lot of complexities behind insurance, and we want to liaise that with the InsurTech, would probably have a great product created, but somewhere in the road, it doesn't succeed because of a miscommunication with big corporates to really understand what is the problem that they're solving, how they are supposed to pitch the program to the corporates. And that's where we saw an opportunity, and maybe we can just provide this learning experience together with some industry expert as well.
And InsurTech's become a bit of a brand or a label. So have you got some rules about what you might consider genuine InsurTechs, or when we're talking about startups within a sort of recent time period? But I mean, what sort of, if anybody's thinking about applying for that, and we'll talk a bit more about it in a minute, what would be the criteria to be acceptable for consideration for the program?
I would say that the only criteria is anyone willing to invest into upskilling or reskilling their knowledge is eligible to apply. So there's no, we're not.
It's very inclusive InsurTech. Yeah. And then can you tell us a little bit about how you do that? Because you're doing a lot. In a sense, you want to give people an experience of what it is to run an insurance company. But you've only got a day and a half. So how do you sort of do that fast-track learning for people so they can actually get something useful out of it? Yeah,
so we build on the insurance management simulation, which is our flagship program that we've run since 2004. And it's basically we provide the participants to immerse in actually to take or simulate role as if they're running their own insurance company. So they have to go through all the intricacies of building an underwriting portfolio versus balancing profitability, solvency, and making key strategic decisions. So as we provide all this input and all this knowledge and theories, we hit them with different real-world scenarios like a natural catastrophe or inflation goes up and you have to make fast and strategic decisions in order to take your company to the next level, either to succeed or to fail. And all this data is inputted into this software platform where we simulate how the result of the company is going in the next few years.
That sounds brilliant. When is it taking place?
Next year, February 18, 19 in Zurich.
And here's the catch. You've got to pay for it, because why not? It's very good. Yeah. How much are you charging for it?
So it's 1,150 Swiss francs, which is about 1,000 pounds.
Yes. Yeah. So 1,000 pounds.
Give or take, yeah.
And so if those that want to apply, is it kind of first across, get your money out, you can join it, or do you have a sort of selection committee based on the individuals who want to do it?
Well, it's based on a first come, first served basis, so we're not. Yeah.
Is it live? Is it live now on your website?
Yes, it is, and I encourage anyone to go into our website if you're interested in the InsurTech trainings. But then again, we have a whole lot of range of programs that might be interesting as well.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, well, I might maybe book tonight. It might have gone by tomorrow morning because it sounds like a great course. And I just so. Thank you, Anna. It was very helpful. And I would recommend, even just not for that course, your website, the Swiss Re Institute, for a lot of really useful learning and data about catastrophes and everything else you want to learn. But I just want a quick plug for our own our own tool. So we have got on the website now, the InsurTech website, our digital intern binary. They have been reading. This is quite painful if you listening to Robin and I do like 500 podcasts. But anyways, they've absorbed a lot of information. You can go in there now and you can ask Iris a question about all sorts of things. So when I was talking to Anna yesterday, Anna didn't know Ruta Mitaskajski, who is one of the other key people in Swiss Re we work with, part of Swiss Re Global Solutions. So we asked Iris, what does Ruta do? And it came back with a really comprehensive view of Ruta. So we're actually able to introduce Anna to one of your colleagues using our own generative AI large language model, which does occasionally hallucinate. You might want to ask her what he thinks about Robin Mertens, but mostly it's quite well behaved. So on that happy note, thank you, all three of you, for being here tonight.
Yeah.
And Anna, for your...
Thank you very much.
Thank you.